They will tell you that being single is a problem to be fixed, that it's a phase you need to escape, that love is the final destination, and if you're not in a relationship, you're somehow incomplete. Your family will ask, when will you settle down? Friends will laugh, you're still alone, and you'll quietly wonder, am I missing something? But what if everything you've been told is wrong? What if being single is not weakness, but the most powerful thing you could ever do for your life? Carl Jung, the great psychologist, said something profound: loneliness doesn't come from having no one around, but from being unable to communicate the things that matter most. Think about that. How many people are married, committed, loved, and still lonely? Because they never met themselves before they met someone else. They filled their days with noise, attention, distraction, but not depth. They traded solitude for company and lost themselves in the process. Staying single is not about avoiding love. It's about preparing for it. It's about facing the person most people run from: yourself. It's about discovering your patterns, your wounds, your desires. Jung called it individuation, the process of becoming whole, of integrating the light and the shadow within you. And here's the truth: most people skip this step. They rush to love. They rush to commitment. They rush to escape loneliness. And in doing so, they carry the same wounds into every relationship. But when you choose to be single long enough to truly meet yourself, you break that cycle. Imagine this: everyone is running to be chosen. Everyone is running to prove they're worthy. But then there's you, calm, focused, unhurried, building yourself, healing yourself, enjoying your own company. That's rare, that's magnetic, that's power, because people who are unafraid of being alone cannot be manipulated, cannot be rushed, cannot be broken easily. They are whole. In this video, I'm going to show you why staying single may be the greatest gift you can give yourself. Why solitude is not a curse but a mirror. Why your loneliness is not empty but full of untapped strength. And why the version of you that learns to stand alone is the one who will attract love, success, and peace without begging for it. So if you've been questioning yourself, if you've been feeling like time is running out, or if you've been pressured to believe something is wrong with you, I want you to stop right here. Sit with me for the next few minutes, because I'm about to change the way you see singleness forever. You have been taught since childhood that love, marriage, and companionship are the ultimate goals of life. Society tells you that if you are single, something is wrong with you. Your family may ask, when will you settle down? Your friends may tease you, saying, you're still alone. And deep inside, you may even wonder, am I missing something? But what if I told you that staying single, choosing your own company over forced connections, is not a sign of weakness or failure, but a profound act of strength? Carl Jung, the father of analytical psychology, once said that loneliness is not about having no one around you, but about being unable to communicate the things that matter most to you. Think about that. Many people are surrounded by partners, spouses, friends, yet feel utterly alone. Why? Because they are living someone else's script. They never discovered themselves before merging with another person. They never allowed their soul to breathe before attaching it to someone else's expectations. Staying single is powerful because it forces you to meet the one person most people avoid: themselves. In solitude, you can no longer hide behind noise, attention, or validation. You are left with your fears, your wounds, your unhealed memories, and your dreams. This is where Jung's concept of individuation comes alive: the journey of becoming whole, of integrating your shadow, your strengths, and your weaknesses into one complete self. When you are single, You are not distracted by constant compromise. You have the space to ask the most important questions. Who am I? What do I truly want? What is my purpose? Relationships are beautiful when they are a choice, not an escape, but too many people enter them out of fear. Fear of being alone, fear of missing out, fear of judgment. They settle. They bend. They shrink. They forget that true love can only come to a person who has first learned to love themselves. Jung warned that what we do not make conscious will rule us as fate. When you stay single long enough to confront your inner world, you break that pattern. You become conscious. You learn your triggers, your patterns, your wounds, and your desires. Being single also protects your energy. Every relationship, even the best, requires compromise, attention, and emotional labor. But what if those resources are needed elsewhere right now? What if your life's mission, your work, your healing, and your spiritual growth demand your undivided focus? Staying single allows you to pour your energy into building yourself, your career, your health, your dreams. You learn independence, not the cold kind, but the kind that says, I can stand alone, and therefore I can choose freely when and if to stand with another. And here's the secret. The more whole you become, the less you will tolerate half love, toxic love, or empty companionship. Your standards rise. Your energy shifts. You no longer chase, you attract. You no longer fear being alone because solitude has become your strength. Jung believed that the privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. Staying single is the fastest way to that privilege because no one else's voice is drowning out your own. So if you are single, stop rushing. Stop believing the world's timeline. Use this sacred season to learn, heal, and grow. Read the books, travel alone, take risks, fail, succeed, cry, laugh, and meet yourself fully. When you finally decide to share your life, you won't come as a half, seeking another half. You will come as a whole, ready to love another whole. And if you never choose to share your life, that's not failure, that's freedom. Staying single is not about rejecting love. It's about respecting yourself enough to wait until love is true, or until you realize you are enough. And in a world that constantly tells you to settle, there is nothing more radical, nothing more beautiful than choosing yourself first. And maybe this is the hardest part for people to accept, that choosing yourself is not selfish, it is sacred. Because when you stand alone, you confront everything others run from. You sit with your loneliness, you taste your silence, and you realize that none of it is empty. It is full of your own unspoken truths. Jung would say that this is the time when your shadow steps forward, showing you the parts of yourself you've hidden, denied, or ignored. And instead of distracting yourself with another person's attention, you finally meet those parts head-on. This is why staying single is a test of character. It is the fire that purifies. Think of gold, it must pass through intense heat to shine. In the same way, solitude burns away illusions. You start noticing patterns. Why you were drawn to certain people, why certain relationships failed, why you sometimes settled for less. You see your wounds without shame, your needs without apology. That self-awareness is power, because when you finally decide to love, it is no longer blind. It is intentional. When you are single, your growth accelerates because you are free from the constant negotiation that relationships demand. You wake up when you want, you plan your days for your own goals, and you create a life that reflects your values. You have no one to perform for, no one to please except yourself. That space, that freedom, is where creativity thrives. Jung believed that every individual carries within them untapped potential, but most bury it under roles and expectations. Staying single gives you the time to uncover those gifts. And let's be honest, Relationships are not cures. They magnify who you already are. If you are insecure, you will carry that into love. If you are restless, you will run even in marriage. But if you are whole, you will love without fear, give without losing yourself, and walk away when something dishonors your soul. This is why staying single is not a delay, it's preparation. It's sharpening your mind, healing your heart, strengthening your spirit so that when love does come, or even if it doesn't, you are unshakable. I want you to imagine something. Imagine a woman or a man walking alone into a crowded room. No ring, no date, no desperate glance around. Just calm, just presence. They are not looking to be chosen. They have already chosen themselves. People feel it. That quiet confidence is magnetic. That is what solitude does. It makes you untouchable, not because you are hard, but because you are whole. So, the next time someone asks, "Why are you still single?" smile and say, "Because I am building something worth sharing, and I refuse to share it too soon." Jung once said, "The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are." Most people will never taste that privilege because they are too busy being who others expect them to be. But you have the courage to wait, to grow, to stand, to choose yourself. And when you finally walk hand in hand with another soul, it will not be to complete you, it will be to celebrate you. And if that day never comes, then know this: a life well lived, even in solitude, is not a tragedy. It is freedom. It is strength. It is the rarest thing of all, authenticity. Because authenticity is the quietest form of power. It's not loud, it's not desperate, it's not begging to be seen. It simply is. And when you live this way, fully yourself, unafraid of being alone, you begin to see life differently. You stop chasing approval. You stop bending to fit in. You stop treating love as something to earn, and instead, you treat it as something to share. That shift is everything. Carl Jung believed that the soul longs to become whole, and wholeness requires separation before union. It requires the courage to walk alone through valleys of doubt, fear, and loneliness. It's like a seed buried deep underground. At first, it looks like nothing is happening. The world above doesn't see it, but beneath the surface, roots are forming. The darkness is not your enemy, it is your preparation. Staying single is your underground season. It's where you grow roots strong enough to handle storms before you ever bloom. And here's the irony. When you stop fearing loneliness, life gets lighter. You discover that your own company can be beautiful. You take yourself on trips. You enjoy meals without distraction. You laugh at your own jokes. You read, learn, create. You invest in your health, your mind, your spiritual life. You build wealth. You nurture friendships that feed your soul instead of drain it. Slowly, something shifts. People begin to notice. They see your glow, your calm, your quiet strength. They wonder why you're not desperate to be chosen. And that's when you realize you've already chosen yourself. Think of all the mistakes people make when they fear being single. They settle for partners who break them. They ignore red flags. They abandon their dreams just to keep someone around. They compromise their dignity to avoid being alone. But when you stay single long enough to face yourself, you no longer make choices out of fear, you make them out of power. And that power makes you magnetic. It's no longer about proving your worth, it's about protecting it. Jung often said, "What you resist persists." When you resist being alone, you attract chaos. But when you embrace solitude, the right things begin to come to you naturally. Why? Because you are aligned. You are no longer chasing, you are becoming. And maybe, just maybe, staying single will lead you to something greater than romance. Maybe it will lead you to purpose, to calling, to serving something bigger than yourself. Maybe you will write the book that changes someone's life. Maybe you will build the business that employs hundreds. Maybe you will mentor someone who thought they were worthless and give them hope. Relationships are beautiful, but they are not the only path to fulfillment. Your life has meaning even without a hand to hold. So let me tell you this: if you are single right now, you are not behind. You are not missing out. You are being given a rare gift, the gift of space to discover who you truly are. And when you finally know that person, when you can look in the mirror and smile at the soul looking back, that is when love, if it comes, will feel less like rescue and more like recognition. Because here is the truth: no one can complete you. They can only meet you at the level you have met yourself. And when you finally realize that no one can complete you, something incredible happens. You stop looking at love as a transaction and start seeing it as a gift. You stop bargaining with your self-worth. You stop entering relationships from emptiness, hoping someone will fill you. Instead, you come from fullness. You stand on solid ground. This is when you become unshackable. Carl Jung spoke often about the unconscious, the hidden parts of our mind that quietly control our choices. When you are constantly distracted by relationships, noise, and other people's needs, you rarely hear those whispers. But when you are alone, those whispers become clear. They tell you where you are hurt. They tell you where you are strong. They tell you what you've been avoiding. And when you finally listen, you take back your power. That's why solitude can feel uncomfortable at first. It's shining a light into places you've ignored. But those places are where your healing begins. This is also where your vision grows. When you are single, your time is yours. You can pour it into your craft, your career, your health, your spiritual journey. You can learn a new skill, travel, take risks, fail without shame, try again without judgment. You can invest, build, dream bigger. You create a life so rich that when someone eventually enters it, they are stepping into something already full of meaning and beauty. And if no one comes, your life is still complete. Think about this. How many people rush into relationships just because they fear being alone? They waste years trying to make something work that was never right just to avoid the silence. But silence is where you hear your soul. Silence is where you learn that your value is not measured by who texts you back, who stays, or who leaves. Your value is measured by how deeply you know yourself, by the peace you carry when no one is watching. And here's the truth many won't tell you. Staying single doesn't mean staying lonely. It means being selective. It means you've raised your standards so high that you refuse to allow anything less than real connection, respect, and depth into your life. When you are whole, you are not desperate. You can wait. You can walk away. You can smile at what others chase because you know what you bring is rare. So if you are single today, take this as your season of power. Take yourself seriously.
Heal, learn, build.
Rest, travel, write your own story. Trust that this time is not wasted. It's the most valuable investment you will ever make. Because one day, whether love comes or not, you will look back and thank yourself for not rushing, for not settling, for honoring the most important relationship you will ever have, the one with yourself. And when you live like that, the right things and people don't just appear, they are drawn to you. They are drawn to your peace, your confidence, your quiet strength. And you will realize, maybe for the first time, that being single was never about being incomplete. It was always about becoming unstoppable. And the moment you step into that unstoppable version of yourself, the world begins to treat you differently. Opportunities seem to appear from nowhere. People respect your boundaries because they can feel that you respect yourself. They see that you are not looking for someone to fix you or to fill a void. You are already whole. That wholeness is rare, and it draws everything aligned with your growth and repels everything that would harm it. Jung believed that what you hold in your unconscious will eventually shape your destiny. When you are single and conscious, you begin to rewrite your story. You stop repeating cycles. You stop attracting what wounded you. You stop trying to heal through people who are just as broken. Instead, you become deliberate. You choose friends wisely, you choose partners wisely, and most importantly, you choose yourself every single day. Think of the people you admire most in life. Many of them spent seasons alone, working in silence, building something the world couldn't yet see. They were misunderstood. They were questioned. They were even criticized for walking alone. But when the time came, their solitude turned into brilliance. That's what staying single can do. It gives you time to grow roots so deep that when you bloom, no storm can shake you. And here is a truth very few accept. The ability to be single without panic is the same ability that makes love thrive when it finally comes. Because love cannot breathe when it is suffocated by fear. If you are afraid to lose someone, if you cannot stand the thought of being alone, you will compromise too much, tolerate too much, and forget yourself. But when you know you can stand on your own, you love more freely. You give without losing yourself. You walk away when something is wrong, not because you are cold, but because you are strong. This is why staying single is not a punishment, it's preparation. It's polishing your character, deepening your wisdom, teaching you to find joy in your own company. It's learning that your peace is non-negotiable, that your dreams are valid, and that your life has meaning whether someone is holding your hand or not. So if you are single right now, see it as a sacred pause. This is your time to become the person you always wished you could be. Your freedom, your focus, your energy, they are your greatest assets right now. Use them. Build the life you dream of. Love yourself so deeply that when someone finally enters your world, it's not to complete you, it's to celebrate you. And if no one ever comes, then your life will still shine because you became the kind of person who didn't wait for love to begin living. Remember this, the strongest people are not the ones who can hold on the longest. They are the ones who can stand alone the longest. They know that happiness is not found in another person. It is found within, and everything else is just a beautiful addition.